Welcome to POG Talk. Today, we have a special guest. This is our good friend, Mr. Schneidwin. You've heard us talk about him a couple of times. His name's Chris. He's funny. He's also won the Dick Award multiple years in a row. They stopped giving it out because no one could outdo him in that aspect.
Not for size of dick, but like because he was the dickhead in the fucking platoon.
Welcome to the POG Talk podcast with Steve and Bobby.
He was the main dick.
He was pretty close. He was pretty close to the dickhead in the whole unit. I was a strong contender.
I think he was definitely our section's dickhead or major dick, and you in supply definitely held that.
Their attitude, their overall just soldier level, and just the way they completed their tasks. And for that reason, I present the first annual, because it will be every year, Reed Award. Reed's Dick to Sergeant Schneidwin.
Oh my God!
Nice.
Pop that shit over.
Actually, it did. Here you go.
And you have to eat it.
I know.
You gotta eat that dick.
How many licks to get to the center? How many licks to get to the center?
Let's find
Only
out.
one way to find out.
Where'd you get this?
Does it have an sex delivery system?
You'll eat this. Should have been black.
Give it
What are you talking about? You just pulled it out of his pants.
Yeah, let's put it on my
You're not
pants.
gonna
It's a rainbow of colors.
Pat, give it to me. I'll eat it.
Well, somebody had to be the asshole and keep everybody doing the stuff they needed to do.
It's basically the asshole award, but we just called it. The
I think
dick
I
award.
proved how great I was when I won it and I wasn't even present. Remember that when I was
True.
way up north and I won by text?
Dude, there was phone calls, though.
There was.
fucking phone calls.
There was.
There was a report coming in.
But the real reason behind that, though, if you remember, was Rock just became first sergeant to Bravo, and it was his first. I think if I remember, it was his first field exercise with Bravo, right? His first AT, if I recall, with Bravo. And we're at our little NCO meeting, and he's like talking about something stupid. I wasn't listening. All of his sergeants are sitting there in their little field table, and they're talking about they needed power for something, and the generator wasn't working. And they're like, "Yeah, the generator doesn't work." And he goes, "Well, what's wrong with the generator?" And I just pointed out the fact that they left all the stuff sitting on the shelf, like at the armory, even after they were told by their own Joes that they needed it. That's what I said.
We got the generator, but we got none of the supporting parts.
Exactly. They brought the generator.
Really hard. It's really hard to do that when you don't have the grounding rod.
But that's the problem with a lot. That was the problem I ran into a lot with combat arms in the National Guard, right? Is that they're not willing to learn beyond their own scope. There were some that were really good with like radios and supply and
So
things
if
like
you want to hear the fun part is like legitimately for HHB, I went through every generator, and every generator has storage for all of its stuff on the generator. And I went through and I put all of the stuff it needed down to the last thing on board. And the very next month, all the shit was stripped off of it and stuffed up on a shelf somewhere because some dumbass
Inventory.
sergeant somewhere. No, not even inventory.
We don't need that over
We
there. We'll
need to
put it
have
over
this
here.
out so we know where it's at.
We'll put it
Leave
inside.
it the fuck on the generator where it belongs.
No, what they do is they put it inside in a cage so they don't have to go outside in the winter.
But that's not what they did. They just set it on a shelf in their fucking cages because God forbid you.
Well, it's like when we got all of our stuff back from, I forgot what they called it, where we turned it in when we came back from Syria or you guys came back from your sunny vacation, I should say. And I got my generator back and it didn't even work. Didn't even turn on, but it turned on when I gave it to him.
Yeah.
I think I went through like 4 generators because they kept bringing me Finally, I told who's that new guy you had in supply? It was you. He was riding shoddy with you, and he was like, you were like, "I'm not bringing you enough generators, Schneidwin. Make this one." Because
Is that Augie?
No, it was you that said it. I might have been Augie
Well-
you brought with. What Augie? Yeah, he replaced Serrano.
Serrano.
Yeah, it would have been Augie then.
Okay. Yeah, that was when Augie was first brand new to the unit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting you another fucking generator. I'm just not.
Yeah, it was like my fourth one in 2 days.
Yeah. I'm done. I don't have any more generators to give you. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Write it up. I don't care anymore.
I didn't
I
care.
get more than my fair share.
I didn't care anymore. I was retiring. I didn't give a
I
flip.
was in the process of being medboarded at that point, I think.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
was.
care either.
It was after you left.
Yeah. Well, you remember when I don't remember, I think it was Carson that brought him to me. But do you remember that individual in our platoon? He worked at Starbucks. But he
The furry.
Furry.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Em?
That was the one that worked at
Yeah.
Starbucks with the furry.
Yeah.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought that was the mechanic guy that was the
No, that was
supply
him too.
guy.
Well,
No,
we
not the
also
supply-
had.
well,
a
Anyway.
furry.
That
Remember
was Chunga.
when I had
Chunga
to
was a furry too.
remember when I had to grab his weapon? He brought him to me. I had to take his weapon and give him the Bobby. He thought he was going to shoot somebody at the range.
Yeah.
I'm like, Bobby, just take this guy. Just take him. Take him for a
No,
ride.
that was when I told you to go up there and take his goddamn gun away from him.
And then I asked you why, and you're like,
Because he kept flagging fucking everyone.
and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna go get that guy for him.
I don't care if he quals or not. He's gonna kill someone.
No, I don't think he did qual.
He didn't.
Dude,
He didn't
shot-
qual.
he
He didn't
shot, like,
qual. He
fast
didn't
as
qual or pass a
well.
PT. He didn't qual or pass a PT test the whole time I was there. He didn't pass anything that would require him to be a soldier the whole time I was there. And when I asked him, because remember that after first starting the convo, we had that one dude. He was there right at the end. We had that new commander, and we got the new first sergeant. And I got an Article 15 for not getting the COVID shot.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yep, it was that same weekend that Rock tried to turn in weapons that were dirty, and I kept turning them back out. He
Yeah,
was trying to sneak them by me, and I walked in and went, "Where'd these fucking weapons come from, and who cleared them?"
you know,
Sergeant Rock did, and I went,
I got so lazy at one
No.
point. I was just gonna open up the breach and drop a hundo in there and close it up and hand it to you.
"I'm taking that. I
Like,
absolutely taking that.
good.
This is
You're clean,
perfectly
good
clean.
enough."
Like, you ever see the video that the dude's he gets hit by a truck and he's laying there and he's like, and the paramedic reaches down like, who is it, sir? He gives him his phone and $100 with a note on it that says delete my search browser.
So, I have questions for you, Chris.
I don't have answers.
Oh, I know you always have answers. It's hilarious how many answers you do have. They're not always good answers, but they're answers.
Well, at least the answers I don't know are usually funny.
That's true. So, all right, you've been active duty. Were you commo when you were active duty?
Yeah, I had one MOS for 20 years, 25 uniform.
Okay.
I was only a bitch becomes a Charlie.
What?
Well, he's talking
Sometimes
to you. He ain't
can't
talking to
help
me.
it. Like, if you're colorblind, you got to be
Charlie's
Charlie.
Charlie's are uniform wannabes.
Well,
like
I
Bobby.
became a uniform.
Yeah, eventually.
Well, yeah, because I had to.
But yes, I was active duty and I was a uniform the whole time.
Okay.
How many years
So-
did you spend on active duty?
4. I did 4.
And how many times were you promoted, demoted?
I was demoted more times than most people were demoted or promoted because my big thing was I didn't care. I mean, I'm sure you saw this, Bobby. Is that I'd rather take the hit from my guy and lose rank than my Joe get in trouble for something stupid. That's why when Major Fucknuts came up to my retrans hill and started yelling. What was that new private we had? That knew his she was real skinny, dumb as a bag of rocks. But anyway, it wasn't because she was inexperienced or just stupid. It was just because she didn't have life experience. You know, she was very smart.
The one that was there for all of like
2 minutes.
2 minutes, right
Yeah.
before the deployment. Got it. I remember.
No, this is after.
Oh, okay. No, now I remember. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she was a very, very smart person, like school wise, but like life wise, she was as dumb as a bag of rocks. She literally heard the explosions of the impact area and ran into the impact area. because I had my retrans sight on the edge of the like literally on the line, right? So if you went like 50 feet this way, not even 50 feet, you saw the sight, Carson. It was literally, if
I
you
know
went
which
20
site you're
feet,
talking
you were
about.
in the
Yeah, you
impact
were on
area.
the south side.
Yeah. And she freaked out and ran into the, I'm like, what the F are you doing? You're running into the impact area. Oh my God. And then she
You're
sets her,
running towards the noise, you
and then she
idiot.
set her, and then she set her tent up in the impact area. Like way far away from everybody. She set up her, I'm like, you're in I was like, but she wasn't stupid. That's what made me so frustrated. It was just like the common sense. Oh, they're dropping bombs over there. I'm gonna go sleep over there. That's a good spot.
Hey, man.
You know? But anyways, this major showed up.
I thought about it a few times, but
This major showed up. It's the one that replaced no, it doesn't matter. He's probably some colonel somewhere now anyway, so fuck him.
Dan?
Who?
The one that replaced Dan?
I don't know.
The one that was our major when we
Went to Minnesota.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
rolls
didn't go
up
to
and he
Minnesota.
starts yelling at Hernandez and this new girl because his radio's not working. And I'm like, I'd already been up for, I think I got 2 hours of sleep because my generator wasn't working, so I couldn't get my comms to work. And I lost it. Like, because I'm hunched over this generator trying to get it fixed because I know Carson can't get it fixed. He's tried, so I'm trying to do it. And he's like,
I told you to call
my radio fixed. I'm like, I think I called him every name under the book. Like I was like, listen, you motherfucker. These guys have been up.
I remember that.
And I
I
went.
remember that because I rolled up with another generator right when you were yelling at it.
I lost my, because at that point in my career, I was already retiring. I didn't care because I realized the most I can make, I was already going to make in my National Guard retirement. I think it's like $1,000 a month or some stupid thing. And you retire at the highest rank you achieved. So it's not like so even if I got demoted, I'm still going to get the retirement of an E6. So what did I have to lose? Not like it's not like they were going to make me an E7.
No.
I didn't kiss enough butt for that.
They weren't going to do that.
No.
You had a bigger target than most people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyways, I was active for 4 years. Get back on track here, guys. I did 7 weeks, I think basic was then. Like 8. I think they made it 10 or 13 at one point.
I was going to say it was 10 weeks when I went through.
I think mine was like 7 or 8. But my AIT, like how long was your 25U class?
Well, I had to reclass, so it was a month.
Yeah, mine was
5 weeks.
Mine was 33 weeks.
Yeah. Well, so the
and then after
course was like 9,
which sucked
originally.
Because the classes after us, like the class immediately or a couple after us, they had just invaded Iraq, so they cut class to like 10 weeks, just like that. There was classes that got there after us that graduated before us. Yeah, there was classes that got there after us that graduated before us.
Damn.
And I got screwed because I enlisted, right? I'm like, I'm going to jump out of airplanes. I'm going to be a bad. I fell for the video. The video really got me, you know? Yeah, because
Join the Army, it's fucking sweet.
Well, you gotta remember that's still the be all you can be.
Yep.
You know, the be all that you can be. Yeah, that was the thing. You know, I had
They're
the
all like
T-shirt.
playing in the background of the video. It's just Metallica, and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, it was the straight. Sweet. It was the. Well, you were there. It's, you know, we were still doing the Vietnam training where you low crawl along the trench and you roll along the foxhole. Like, who does it?
What year did you go to basic?
2000. Bad news.
2002.
2010. They were still having us do that.
Because
that's when we had. That's when we had the
2001.
That's when they still had the crazy Ivans for your on the range. Get down! Did you bring me vodka today at the range? I will not go down if you did not bring me vodka. But yeah, so I did that. So I did 10 weeks of that, and I did 33 weeks. That's what, almost a year just in training, right? So then they changed my orders. I was 25U. Or actually, at the time, it was 31U. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep. Yeah.
It was 31U. Airborne option with $25,000 bonus, 82nd Airborne, right? Well, I had a problem in AIT, I can't remember. I don't remember what. I think it was my sit-ups. I couldn't get the sit-ups. Because there's a minimum you had to get for the go to airborne school.
Right.
And I was always like, just. So I stayed and I wouldn't give up my spot. So I was a holdover for a little bit trying to get my slot, right? Well, numbnuts, I mean, Bush, he went into Iraq and they canceled my class, changed my orders and shipped me to Fort Lewis. I never went to airborne school, never got my $25,000, but I got to go to Iraq with the first Striker Brigade. So it worked out. And then I came back from Iraq, was home like a month and a half. I did my month leave, went back to Fort Lewis, checked my AKO, and I had a PCS orders to Fort Riley. Went to Fort Riley. Not even a month later, I was back in Iraq. Literally on the same base I just flew out of a month and a half before.
So when you were at Fort Riley, what unit was that?
H1 Cav. It's not the big red one. I think it was like old Ironsides or something.
I just say
So
that's
you went
either
to a
Big
cab
Red
unit.
or
It was another Cav. Yeah, it was like another. It was another Cav.
Then it was old Ironsides then.
Yeah, but they I don't know what they called it, but when we got back in 06, they put the colors away and they deactivate the unit or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they were switching over to the SB Striker Brigade, SBCTs at the time, the Striker Brigade combat teams. So they were reorganizing everything and yeah. Oh, I love this story. I don't think I've ever told this story to either one of you. So when I was at Riley, I was ETSing, right? They're like, "Hey, you gonna re-enlist?" I'm like, "I've been in 4 years. I've spent a year in training and 2 years overseas. Get that, right?" So out of 4 years in the Army, I was home for less than a year. I wasn't even home a year. The year I was home out of 4 years was the year in training. When I ETS, I think I still had like 70 or 80 days of use or lose leave time. Because I was deployed so much, there was guys in my unit that had over 100 days of leave because they were just constantly deploying people. It was ridiculous. So I ended up actually, because I don't know if you guys know this, but you can use it and get out. I could have got out like 90 days early, right? So you can kind of go on, like they call it terminal leave, where you get out, but you're not. But I cashed it out. I did the full time and then just took the paycheck at the end.
Okay.
Smoked it on pot.
I believe that actually.
But anyways, back to my story. Back to the story. In order to get out, the first sergeant has to sign off on your paperwork. I don't know if the guard has the first sergeant do that or not.
Yeah.
But you have to go to each station. You get like a checklist, kind of like, and you got to go to each station. Supply, finance, all these different briefings. You got to do an exit survey essentially, but it's a briefing, right?
Yeah.
And my first sergeant was like, "Well, I'm not going to sign this paperwork until all the comms work is done," because they were taking down the unit. So I had all the VAs, all the radio, all the comm equipment laid out in this bay, kind of like your supply shack, but every square inch of it was comm equipment on the floor with 5988s and all that, right? Yeah. So I collected it all and I put it on the shelf in my office. It's on the shelf in my office in the folder. It's labeled. Some dumb private, I know who it was. I'm not going to say his name because he was actually a really good guy. Thought it was trash, so he threw it in the burning barrel because we were burning old TMs and stuff. So he burned 3 months worth shortage annexes because you know how much equipment is in a unit.
Oh,
Yeah.
So and at this time, it wasn't just the Singars radios or the mounts, or the power amps. We also had, at that time, we had the Warlock. We had to do. I had to work on. They had the FBCB2. At that point, it was still the FBCB2. So I mean, so what I did was, the day before I was supposed to ETS, is I printed off a stack of those shortage annex forms, and that form you have to turn in with it. It's like you do the shortage annex, and then you do something else so you can turn it into supply because you're not getting it back. I forgot what they called it. So you can get it off your MTO type of, remove it from the MTO. It's another form I had to fill out, but I had to fill one out for each piece of equipment because their CIF didn't want a blanket statement for the whole thing. Because the commander
was being a pain in the ass. No way.
Because the commander wanted to do a blanket one for the whole unit and just here you go. No, they wanted one for each item by a serial number. So I'm filling this out. I'm just at this point, I'm just making shit up. Y, Z, 3, 6, 9. I'm making up
Jew?
nomenclatures. I'm making up serial numbers. I'm making up NSNs. I give it all. So somebody, when they turned that crap in after I ETS, was like, son of a bitch. And I literally rolled out of Fort Riley because at that point, I was completely deployed out. I was armied out, And I literally, the first sergeant goes, well, what you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna roll out the gate with a 40 in my cup holder and a blunt in my mouth, and I'm heading to Missouri. And that's exactly what I did. I ETS'd, I turned in my paperwork, got my D214, put a 40 in the cup holder, lit up a blunt, and was listened to Blair take this job and shove it as I drove out the front gate. And I went home and I had all my deployment money and stuff, so I used drugs and drank for a month. And then I remember I was sitting there and this Missouri National Guard guy was like, hey, is this Corporal Schneidwin? This is like 8, 9, 10 in the morning, I'm already messed up. And I'm like, you
were drunk and high at the time.
Yeah, like I used to be.
Yes, to me.
You're like, well, this is Staff Sergeant so-and-so. I got $15,000 if you'd like to come back into the National Guard as a 25 uniform. I'm like, what the hell is a 25 uniform? And that's when I found out they changed the MOSs and they added a soldier's creed and they added all this other crap that I didn't know about because I was in the desert getting shot at the time. And I'm like, sure. So I jumped in my dad's pickup because my ex at the time smashed my car. So I was in my dad's little 5-speed pickup. He had an F-150 5-speed, great truck. I don't recommend it when you're under the influence because driving a manual under the influence is not recommended. But I drove the 25 miles to the recruiting station, and I was like, signed my name, and bounced. Showed up at drill like 4 days later. It was an MP unit in Springfield, Missouri. It was this MP unit. I think it was like the 320th MP unit, 220 MP unit or something like that. And this unit, what you talk about, a horrible National Guard unit. Oh my God. My team leader, my squad leader, and my platoon sergeant were all brothers. The platoon sergeant.
What?
Well, it gets better. The platoon sergeant knocked up a female soldier on my team in his brother's squad, in his brother's team, in his own platoon. He was knocking up the girls in his own platoon. So this is the best part. Here's the best part, though. Like a year goes by, right? I'm in the Guard. I'm doing my thing. I hated it. I was trying to get kicked out. I wasn't going to drill. Being from active and going to that, I would have been better off just sticking a nice pick in my temple. Because these guys, they like, hey, we're going to the field. And they have a fort there, like Fort McCoy here in Wisconsin. And we go there, and it's just not really like World War II barracks, but it's like the big single floor style World War II barracks, where it's just one story. But it's just weird. It was a weird layout. I'd never seen one like it or since. But I hear, I hear we're going to the field. I was being active duty. I thought we were going to the field. I had my sleeping bag. I had my tent. I had a carton of cigarettes. I was going to the field. We get there.
So what we actually did.
They pull up to the barracks, and then we get inside to drop our gear, and they start pulling out like Xboxes and TVs, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, this is our barracks when we go to the field." Like, so we're not going to the field. He goes, "Well, this is as far as we go. We're an MP unit. We got to practice, and then to practice their, I don't know what you call it, but they shoot up a flare at night, and you got to like duck and cover. I forget what, because it's on one of your pre-deployment checklists. We had to simulate night because they didn't want to stay up at night and do night fire. So we simulated.
Wait, so you simulated night fires?
We simulated night qual.
What?
They popped up the target like you normally do. They had the little. They put it. I don't know what. They actually put like a necklace around it with a chem light. They put
the IR chem light.
Yeah, because their lights. Well, you saw. You guys know the light. Anybody who's ever shot at night knows the lights don't work.
Yeah. No,
so they did the chem light, and then one of them tried drinking it. But yeah, this is Missouri. Okay, Missouri. You're either a truck driver, a meth head, or you're homeless, or a farmer.
Apparently, in the National Guard, all of them.
But here's the kicker with that unit, right? I mean, I deployed with these guys. Well, not with them, but with the Missouri unit, National Guard, the 110th I think it's MEB. There's like an eagle thing for a patch. I got one here somewhere. The thing is it went around the armory. There's 2 deployments coming up that they either going to volunteer for or they were going to put you on one. And one of them was Iraq, and one of them was Kosovo. They needed 6 people for Kosovo, like 50 or 60 for Iraq for route clearance, right? Well, somehow they messed it up, and the 6 people went to Iraq, and the 50 of us went to Kosovo.
Wait, so you were on
We're sending
the
6 for
Kosovo
route
mission.
clearance.
The Kosovo mission? That was the one that
I was on
went to.
I was on K410. I think Rosina was on like 12 or something, or 13, something like that.
So that's the one.
But
Doc was on, too.
Wisconsin did do the K4 mission. I just don't remember what
Doc-
year it was.
Doc did a minor international incident taking somebody to the hospital.
But Kosovo is so small, we actually would fly across the country in 15 minutes. And
He said that took them 3 hours to drive from one side to the other.
yeah, we drove from Camp
It's like going
Bonsteel.
across Wisconsin.
We drove from Camp Bonsteel to the Macedonian border it was less than an hour.
That's the border he had a.
Yeah, because we would have to watch them. Yeah, and then we went up to this camp called Camp Nothing Hill up in the middle of literally nothing, up in the mountains. I don't know what mountain range that is out there. We're in former Yugoslavia, but it was up near the Serbian border, and it just snowed and iced and snowed and ice.
Yep,
So
I had
like
another friend that
and at this
Fair.
point, I got demoted again. I got demoted for the first time. First time because
wait. So hold on. So you didn't get demoted in the active army,
I got a good conduct medal.
and then in the National Guard in Missouri, in Kosovo, you got demoted.
Not in Kosovo before, because
You got
I couldn't.
demoted.
Well, my mom got sick, like really sick. This was just before she passed, so I came back to Wisconsin to take care of her, and I was in contact with Brigade, but Brigade wasn't in contact with my unit. Right, so I was going through the chain. I was going through the chain of command because as the commo guy, I wasn't a company asset. I was assigned to the company, but I was a brigade asset. So I went through Brigade because I'm part of
chain of command.
I'm part of Brigade S6, right?
Okay.
Well, apparently they didn't tell the unit, so the unit put me down as AWOL, and I got demoted to PFC just before I deployed to Kosovo. And which I didn't care. I think the difference in pay was like $20, $30 tops. And but I got promoted when I got into Wisconsin because I went straight from Kosovo to Wisconsin. I never went back to Missouri, to the Missouri National Guard. I did an interstate transfer from Kosovo, and that's why and that's why I transferred to the 132nd, which I should have stayed in Missouri. Because those guys, again, I was in Echo Company 132nd, which I don't even think exists anymore. They drilled up in Wapaka.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore.
But
They got shuttered.
I think they're a golf company now. But anyway, they when I did that was fine. I had a great group of guys there. But what the unit did, I don't know if it was like the higher up here, or I'm not sure where it happened in the chain of command, but I wasn't getting promoted. I wasn't on the EPS. Was it EPS, right?
EPS list.
EPS list. I'm like, what the heck is going? I mean, like at this point, I'm at like 13 years in, and I'm a specialist. I mean, I was starting to make Carson look like a rookie. And so I called this Sergeant First Class, whatever her name was. I don't remember what her name was, but they're the career counselor in Madison. You know what I'm talking about? They can help you with like reclassing and all. I called her. I'm like, I don't get it. Because, well, according to this, you haven't been MOS school. I'm like, I've been this MOS for almost 15 years. Well, they changed me to a 90, wherever that the girl was that fixed the radios that we had. Remember, she was in the 108th?
Right. Yeah.
Whatever she did.
Yeah.
That's what they put me, because they reorged or redid the units. I don't know if you remember
They just
that.
dropped you into a slot.
Well,
Like,
they
oh,
lost
this is
their
a comms
they
slot.
lost their
Fine.
25U slot. which means I wasn't supposed to be in their unit. So they didn't want to lose their radio guy. So they dropped me into a 94 Echo slot
Oh.
without
Well, that was
even
nice of them to tell
without
you.
even telling me. And apparently I was in this slot for like 3 years and didn't even know it. They didn't send me to MOS school. Nothing. For 3, I didn't even know. So finally, I'm like, really? So that next drill, the battalion sergeant major was coming up. Or no, the sergeant major for the 132nd was coming up for a change of command. And I'm like, okay. So we do the chain of command. We're all like, a little parade stupid shit that they do for those guys that have been there for like 2 seconds. But those of us that have been there for over a decade just get a handshake and a kick in the ass if we're lucky. But I'll discuss
You're lucky
that.
if you get the handshake.
I got a mug. But what was I talking about?
The sergeant major chain of command.
Oh yeah, so
You
he
were in the
shows up.
slot
They
that
do
you
they
should have been in.
do the change of command. I wasn't inside. I was, but I was very respectful because I didn't know the guy, and he was very polite. So I wasn't going to be a dill hole, because how you're received is very important with these guys because they like a little, So I told him, I was like, Sergeant Major, can I talk to you? He's like, yeah, sure. What's going on, soldier? Like acting like it's a recruiting video. I told him, like, I've been in this unit at that point. I think I was like 5 years. I was in. No, that unit. I was in that unit for 2 years. And I was like, yeah, they don't have a slot. They did this to me without letting me know. Blah 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 blah. He was like, really? Okay. Next drill, I was in Portage in a commo platoon. The next drill. The drill. It was not even 3 months after that I got the E5 spot in the 121. And it was funny because I don't know how it was when you got promoted, Bobby, but like when I got mine for E5, it was a crap ton of units I could have went to. I mean, it was just, like every unit in the state had an E5 opening. It seemed.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
and here's how I came to the 121. I'll get. I'm sure I told Bob. I thought you guys probably already know this, but I was sitting there and looking at my email, AKL email, right? And I was going through all these options. And this female platoon sergeant who she knows her stuff. I think she's a warrant officer now. She knows her crap, right? But she doesn't have the field experience. Kind of like you. You know what you're talking about, but you don't have that field experience like I do. You know what I'm talking about, Bobby? You're good on the admin side, but not the radio side.
Is he winning the Dick Award again? He's winning the Dick Award again, isn't he?
There was me and you that really knew
No,
how
it's
to
just-
do this shit, you dick.
No, it's like she knew how to do it, but they like she knew how to do it, but she was more TM style than,
Well, Bobby wasn't TM style for the longest time. So.
Him and I used to go round and round about that damn Prim 34 thing.
Hey,
Gotta get the Prim. You gotta get the Prim.
hey, if you want to dig deep, get the Prim.
All you need is a hand mic. I can do the same thing with a hand mic.
You need a hand mic to use the Prim.
I could have saved. Think about how much money I could save the Army if they sent me to a schoolhouse to teach just that, and then they could stop getting Prim 34s.
Dude, they had all
They
those
better than a
Prim
Pricky
34s
7.
since like Vietnam.
They probably pay like $80,000 a pop for that stupid thing, and they're probably just extra from some company's warehouse from Vietnam.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, did you know they're still using Purple Hearts today that they made during World War II?
Yeah, it was made for the invasion of Japan.
There you go. See, at least the supply guy's a smart guy.
I wouldn't go
Anyway,
that far.
I'm back to what I was saying. I'm looking at this list, right, and it has that Camo company that was just north of us from Milwaukee that they were on it.
Two Rivers.
I don't remember I just remember
Two Rivers.
it was the Camo. It was the Camo company. Then they had the
Two
one.
Rivers.
Then they had the brigade, 132nd Brigade S6. And then they had the 132nd unit I was in. That wasn't gonna happen. I'm not a battalion guy. And there was like all these other units, right? Like like the was it 105th or whatever? The Cav unit was on it.
Out of Madison. Yeah.
Well, this wasn't Madison. I think this was Fort Atkinson.
Yeah, they moved to
yeah.
Madison. So, but yeah,
No, they're in multiple locations.
Yeah,
though.
they have Atkinson. Yeah.
they closed to Atkinson.
Did they?
All the guys in Atkinson went to Madison now.
Oh, and then so all these units were on there.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I wanted to do something that I hadn't done. So I immediately crossed off the Cav Scouts. I crossed off the MPs. I crossed off battalion. I crossed off, all these just BS I've already done. And I wasn't going to go to a commo unit because
You're like, I've already done this.
no, I've never been in a commo unit. I've always been in like being in the battalion S6 section in the 132nd where you do literally nothing. I lost my freaking mind. And then having to take stuff to the field simply because we have it, not because we're actually going to use it. I was really
I don't know anything about that.
my brain was I was having a very hard time in that unit, right? And then this is also the same unit that does PT for a week straight and then including the day before a PT test. They do like smoke sessions smart. And then they wonder why everybody fails the PT test. So anyway, I sign up for the 121, right? My platoon sergeant, he's like, oh, I would have picked whoever the common company was. That's where she would have went. I'm like, well, no. Like I've always been a line guy, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna go field artillery. And then here's the funniest conversation I've ever had in a 121. I walk in, just pinned E5. Actually, I don't even think I was pinned yet. I think I was still in E4. And Master Sergeant was there in our closet office, right? And he goes, I walk in, and it's the only time I've ever heard that man swear. He goes, who the hell are you? I'm like, I'm your new retrans sergeant. I'm, Sergeant Schneider. He goes, I don't even care. And he just walked out the door, and I never saw him again.
Oh, you were pissed this weekend. That's right. I know when this was. Yeah, you weren't even.
He was retiring. He was like, I don't even care. I never saw him again.
That was right after we
36 years of service.
Yeah,
he was old.
Yeah.
That's like Vietnam era, dang near.
Pretty close.
Well, actually, that's like Desert Storm.
He did Desert Storm.
Yeah. But yeah, it was.
That was the weekend I met you, and you.
I was like, okay, and then here comes Bobby. Hey, who are you? Oh, Bobby. Nice to meet you. Acting like SpongeBob, all happy and crap.
I was just happy to get a new fucking sergeant. I think you were already pinned though.
Was I?
No, he wasn't pinned because I met him. He was a specialist because he came out all just confused as fuck to the smoke pit at Richard Street there. And I'm like, hey,
in my defense, at that point, I'd never seen an armory that big. That was bigger than all the armories I've been in combined. That place was massive.
That's why there were 6 fucking units.
And it still smelled like horse crap.
Yeah, especially our offices because they were the stalls.
Over 100 years later, that place, because those who don't know, Richard Street Armory was used as a field artillery back in the day when they had horse-drawn artillery. So they would put the horses in the drill floor, and it's the poops in the concrete.
Our office was a stall.
The poops in the concrete. You can tell. You can smell it.
The poop smell in the wall.
But do you remember what happened that same drill, my first drill? That dude said I was in his spot.
Which dude?
The sergeant that was in the same. We were in the same slot.
Were.
Remember they double booked the slot. He was in it, and he was going to take it after deployment.
That wasn't Warner.
Haberman?
Warner was gone.
It had to be Hobbs.
Haberman, something like that.
Yeah, it was Hobbs.
Because he wanted to switch. He wanted to switch. He wanted to stay in the 121, and he wanted me to go to the Cav unit.
Yep. Now I remember that. Yep. Yeah.
And I was actually going to consider it. Remember, I was talking to you about. I was going to consider it because he'd been there longer, and I'd been in Cavs units before. But then when he said, but then he pulled me inside. Go, hey, you're in my spot. I was like, you know what? Fuck this guy.
I do remember that.
Fuck him.
I was gonna go, but fuck him.
Yeah. When he said, I'm a what, but something about it just pissed me off. It just.
Yeah, I remember that. All that shit going down.
Oh, that's how he got into the 121. Because he was confused as shit when I met him. It was fun. It was cold. It was right after we did the state active duty stuff.
Sorry, the dog wanted out. Active duty is a blast. I wish I would have stayed.
We did the state active duty right before you came to the unit. It was like legit a week before. So like, I know I was there. I know Mass Sergeant was there. I think you were.
I was there.
You weren't there. You were? Okay. Yeah. And all of us had like not really gone home a whole lot for the last 3 weeks.
No, we were all just tired. At the fucking armory.
We were all just tired and crabby.
Oh,
that was the start of my fight with Mr. Schneidwin to do paperwork and not just come in and try and take shit from me.
It wasn't take shit. It was just drop stuff off to have you fix it and do the paperwork for me.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
You did it. You did
Ever.
for the first 5 years.
No, I didn't. I made everybody else do it. I handed it back to your guys. I'm
Oh,
like,
oh,
since your fucking sergeant won't fucking do it, you
that's why
get to do it
that's
because
why Craig was always so pissed
Yeah.
at me.
because I used to just hand him fucking shit when he'd walk in, because he'd come in for something completely different and have his paperwork.
He was a
I
sergeant.
trained him.
He was an
since he was a
E5.
lowly private.
Well, but Craig wasn't E5, so he'd come in, because Bobby and I would be doing something that was actually somewhat important that he'd have no clue what to do.
I'd
So
like walk back into the office and there'd be a fucking whatever with like a half-assed filled out 5988
Oh, yeah, that'd be me.
with Schneidwin's fucking scribble on
Shit
there.
still broken.
Yeah, no, it'd be something like that. I'm like, well, I'm not sending that to the fucking shop.
I
and
remember
I'm
I
not turning the
turned
fucking
one.
thing on to test it. So Crate,
Who is
it
the
was
supply?
Crate and Atkinson would walk in. Those poor bastards. I'd just be like, fix it, and then you can bring it back to me.
The guy before Serrano, right? The one, remember he got blown up when you guys were
Yeah.
employed.
Sternberg, yeah.
When we were at RSA, remember where his office was there down that weird hallway? I went down there and I had a stack of 5988s, and he was being a D-bag to me at the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if Wesley actually pays attention, right? So I gave this to a stack of 5988s, and all it said was broken. That's all I wrote. I didn't even write, like, it just said truck 402 broken. That's pretty much what I wrote. And he just said, he took it, set it down, went back to what he was doing, and I never saw it. I don't know whatever happened to it. Probably had to because we had to redo it the next drill anyway, so why did it matter?
No,
I mean, look how long it took me to get a fuel tank for that truck. The first time, not the second time. Yeah, the first time. The second time I drilled the holes in it. The first time the lieutenant did. Remember, he was showing me how to put the plate between the seats, and then I was driving back from AT that year, and I was like,
"Oh, hey, you got? Do you remember?
Like,
do you remember who walked out and went, "Hey, you guys know there's a fuel tank there, right? You remember? Do you remember who said that?
I don't remember that conversation.
And you remember what that lieutenant
Well, see,
said?
my thing was I knew the tank was there. I just didn't realize.
Yeah.
I miscalculated the distance between the metal.
Didn't realize it was there.
It's there.
Well, on the old trucks, it wasn't. You had a space.
No.
Like on the old, like on the 998s, it was.
That was the 998s.
Well, that's what my truck was.
Yeah. Well, the newer 998s, they went with the newer style stuff. And you know what happened when a certain supply guy walked out on the drill floor as you guys were getting ready to drill holes, and I went, hey, you guys know that fuel tank is
you're thinking of a different
right there.
You're thinking of when the lieutenant did it, because when I did it,
Yeah, no, that's just I'm talking about that because
because when I did it, we were outside.
I know what I'm doing. Don't fucking talk to me like that. And I went, all right, dope.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't the lieutenant though. That wasn't the lieutenant. I remember that wasn't. That was that cadet. Remember that cadet we had?
Yeah, and I just went, all right, sweet.
No.
I watched one of your guys.
I remember we definitely had a lieutenant that did it.
Oh,
it was definitely the lieutenant.
It was the lieutenant.
I thought it was the cadet.
No,
it wasn't the cadet.
Lieutenant.
It was the lieutenant.
That was funny.
But I went, all right.
I went back from AT, and I'm like,
have fun.
What is that? Like, Craig, you smell that? There's like a pool of diesel fuel in the middle of the truck. But that truck was a beast. That thing did 80.
Because it didn't have anything on it.
Well, they put an up armored engine on a soft top.
That's because they all started to come with the up armored engines finally.
And that thing was just. Remember when we had no doors, and I was coming back with Atkinson, and it looked like someone bitch slapped him the entire way back because of the rain. It was like his face was this red. It was soaking wet from head to toe. I'm perfectly dry.
So we have to touch on because we touched on it, but not really. Okay, so why did you get banned from Bravo? Because it's pertinent now, being as you brought up Atkinson with.
Was that the one where I called Michelle Obama a bitch, and that kid took offense to it?
Yeah.
That time.
And then the first sergeant called down to
because I was yelling. Because I was yelling at their
everyone.
I was yelling at their I was yelling at their dudes because they were just stupid. They're calling me over for stupid. Like, my speaker don't work. Did it work before you left? No. Why didn't you tell the S6 when we were there 2 months ago going through your truck that your speaker didn't work?
We just
Well,
figured
I
we'd
didn't
wait
think
till we were in the field.
that's the type of that's what, and then what broke the camel's back was when they had that cadet using the FBCB2, and I called First Sergeant out on it because the cadet doesn't have the clearance because it's secret. He was having them work on it, like use it. I'm like, dude, he cannot do that. That's such a security. And then I reported it to the state because you have to report that, do the forums and report it to J6 or whatever the heck it was.
J6.
Nothing happened. They were like, whatever.
Like, he's a cadet. It's fine. It's fine.
Just
He's
mail
equal
us
to
your
a
autographs.
5.
It's okay.
I remember when the first sergeant came rolling in because we were at Red Arrow Rock, and the first sergeant come rolling in and just started jumping everybody's shit.
But if you would look at the sheet, okay, of Bravo, I recall that I think it was like 50 something items Atkinson and I fixed that AT.
Oh, yeah,
And
you guys killed it.
And I ended up fixing like one thing for Alpha, and it was like they spilled a pop on a speaker or something, and the speaker quit working.
No, yeah, because you guys were giving your reports at the end of the day, and it was like you guys were fixing a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah, it's because they were too stupid to do it before they left.
Right.
I mean, I asked Reed to bring me a radio because the radio didn't work, and he brought me and the supply gave him a broken radio.
That wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. It was Bravo's supply. It was Serrano.
No, it wasn't
It
Serrano.
was before we had Serrano when he was in Bravo.
No, because he didn't become Bravo until right before
No, that was Alpha.
Yeah, Serrano was Alpha.
Yeah, but Serrano took over Bravo
I thought he was
for
Bravo.
a short time because weird shit
Well, anyway, yeah.
happened.
But anyway, yeah, he gives me this radio. I'm
Oh, yeah,
like, dude.
because Bravo
And
fucking
the
supply
Bravo
was messed up.
And I don't mind if someone gives me something that's broke if they don't know it's broke. The thing had a red tag on it.
Hey, man.
Bro.
And I'm just like, and that's the problem that I ran into in the Guard with field, like armor, like field units, like line units, is they just don't.
Well,
I shoot
they
rockets. They
figure
don't think about
bring
what
it
makes them shoot
along,
rockets.
and then if
Just in
comms
case.
is there, they can fix it.
Well, that's why I was always getting so pissy about these combo classes you'd have us do. Like, what's the point? Nobody pays attention anyway. And
Yeah,
it was
I just know that every
gotta
combo
do
class, I wasn't allowed to answer questions.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because you actually knew what you were doing when it came to the radio.
It was
I
just,
never-
Shut up, Steve.
I never had a radio in any of my trucks, but I knew how to do it.
well, I couldn't even I'd be teaching a radio class, right? I'd be like, okay, the talk is whatever our call, I forgot what our call sign was, but whatever X-ray, that should be your talk, not, 121 talk. That's not what and I was trying to teach them how to properly use the radio, like for platoon sergeant is 4-1, right? I was 4-2. So I was first squad leader. Or no, you know what I'm saying, right? I was trying to teach this stuff. And they were just using cell phones. Even overseas, they were using cell phones. They would WhatsApp each other.
Yeah, because we know that was secure.
I was like, what the
Absolutely.
heck? Yeah, it was just, I gave up. Oh, and then they were I was trying to get the HF working, and every time I do that, the trucks would be down for maintenance every time because they didn't want to do it. Because they had this ingenious idea that they were going to load their trucks on the C-130s in Syria, fly somewhere, get off, shoot rockets, drive back down, and fly back.
No, we did that out of UAE.
No, but they wanted to do it in Syria.
Yeah.
But the
You know why it came to-
differences between UAE and Syria is UAE has paved runways where ours was dirt. So if they would have flown out and it rained, they would be out. They wouldn't be able to get back for like 4 days because every time it rained, it would take if it rained for 3 days, it would take like 5 days for the runway to dry out.
Yeah.
We literally ate like a scoop of corn and brisket for a month and a half straight, because it wouldn't stop raining.
Because you couldn't get
We couldn't get supplies.
resupplied.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's when Rosina was sending me stuff in the mail because I could get it from the States quicker than I could get it from my own people.
I tried.
Jeez.
I tried.
Well, do you remember when
I
they
used to get
sent
phone
my?
calls from his ass at like 1 o'clock in the morning going, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to send this to me."
Anyway, what were we talking about? We got off track. What were we talking about?
You getting kicked out of Bravo.
Oh, so but yeah, like when I was in the scouts on active duty, my first unit, those guys they knew their stuff. If they came to me, I knew it was broke. We had a couple of guys like that. We're a couple of E7s where if they came to you for something, you knew it was broken. Like if Carson came to me, I knew his stuff was jacked. You know, these guys, I mean, the same with all of them, even their privates, they knew how to troubleshoot their own radios, how to load them, how to everything. I didn't have to do anything. Show up, give them the ANCD. Oh my God, now I feel old. And walk away. What really made me feel old is I'm on this Iraq War Vet Facebook group, and we post pictures of all the places we've been, right? And I'm looking at the picture, I was like, when did we switch to ACUs? I'm trying to remember, because I don't remember the switch. Like, really remember the switch? And I'm like, God, because I look at all these pictures of like me in my desert uniform, and I'm just like, holy crap, now I feel old. Because you see the deserts, and first I see the BDUs, then I see the DCUs, and then I see the CC. Oh, I love ones me and the CCUs. I don't know if you guys ever got issued those. You should look them up. It's close. I think it's the close combat uniform. It was the I was in 3rd Brigade 2ID 114 Cav, right? We were the training or the guinea pigs for that uniform. It was the predecessor of the ACU. It was pretty much like a desert version of the ACU. Awesome uniform. Loved it. Because it didn't have as much Velcro on it. Like your rank was pinned over your name instead of in the middle. It was up here. So that way when you were looking at a soldier, you didn't feel like you were looking at her boobs the whole time.
No.
I'm just looking at her rank.
All right. Yeah,
they knew what they were doing, right? So I didn't have, but these National Guard guys, they're just dumb. Ooh.
there. That is it. That is the CCU.
Yeah, that is right there. That's the CCU uniform.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was our sister unit. That was 214. That's a 214 Cav unit. Or
Tropical Lightning?
yeah, they were directly across the what do you call it? Like drill field from us, parade field.
Okay.
They were what is that brigade? They're in the brigade, but they're like main brigade. Like I was in I Corps, right? First Corps out of Fort Lewis. Their headquarters was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But I don't remember like what.
Thunder or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, we used to call it the flaming strawberry, but
yeah.
But yeah, they replaced us in Iraq actually. Yeah, they were our sister unit. They had more casualties in the first week than we had in the whole year.
Jesus.
They thought they knew better. They had a rapper. They had an actual. I wish I could remember his name. I'm not a rap music guy, but they had a professional rapper in their unit. 214 Cat had like a pro, like had like a records out and everything, and he volunteered to go join the army.
Wow.
Yeah. If I really cared about rap music, I probably would have.
So they're out of Schofield Barracks in Hawaii.
What brigade is that?
In a second.
Because
14th, 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team.
Is that the one at Fort Lewis? For all I know, I mean, it's been over 20 years.
know.
They may not even be at Fort Lewis anymore. I mean, 25.
So they were reflagged to
probably 3rd ACR.
214, one of the 35th Infantry Regiment.
Oh, well, yeah, they used to be 214 Cav. Well, no, it was 214 Cav was the battalion. The brigade was an infantry brigade. Like I was in an infantry brigade. I was in the 3rd Infantry Brigade.
Yeah. So they were part of what brigade? But
they were but that brigade at Fort Lewis, if I recall, was the 2nd Brigade Combat, the 2nd Strike Brigade Combat Team. But it doesn't matter now anyway. It's 20-something years later. But yeah, it was it's a pretty cool uniform. It was a really good uniform, though. I really liked it.
Okay.
You learned something today, guys.
We learn stuff all the time.
But you didn't know. See, I wore a uniform. You didn't.
Honestly, it's probably the most tame thing that my Google has seen.
But
in the last year, it's the most tame thing.
I can imagine what your Google account has.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going to Exotica in Chicago on
What's
Saturday. It is the world's largest.
Is it like Comic-Con for what you do?
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's AVN Awards light.
How is that going for you? Is it profitable yet?
No.
Oh,
I wish it was.
Are you selling anything?
I've sold a couple of things. It's getting there. Hey man, there's a lot of choices out there for sex toys.
Well, this guy I work with just made a boatload of money. He designed a marijuana pipe that hides itself as an inhaler. It looks just like an inhaler. My red one looks just like
that is more acceptable than those
It depends. I mean, California, you might get a little more from your own crowd there.
I ain't going to
Maybe
California.
Colorado, maybe down in
Going back to
Austin.
Colorado either. I will absolutely do that.
Yeah.
But
Germany, I bet you Germany would be a huge market for you.
Yeah, if the tariffs wouldn't kill me.
They're not. Don't worry.
Right now, the tariffs would kill my business.
I'm not
there.
worried about that anymore. I've been shot at.
I don't really care. I'm just trying to get it to grow.
RPG blowing up. You name.
I don't care about it.
I mean,
but I'm gonna grow incrementally, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we're going to Chicago, and then we're gonna be I want to try and be an actual vendor.
So are you still doing your other job then? So what about moving? What about moving to Texas?
Working on that.
Working on it. Yeah.
It's a goal.
Oh, so you guys ever use Claim Climbers?
One more time.
They're Claim Climbers. It's this thing I'm using. I'm actually gonna give them a little thing here because I like them. But I needed a Nexus letter for my sleep apnea, obviously, because I have sleep apnea now.
Yeah.
And
I got bad news. You probably always had sleep apnea.
I probably have.
I've heard you snore.
But they probably.
You've had
it's for like you pay these guys like $200 up front, and you upload all your medical stuff, and they go through it all, and they look at it, and they see like, oh, you missed this one, you missed this one. They mark out like what they could help you do, essentially, right? Like appeal this or do that, and then they write you a Nexus letter that links that to military service. Like my hip hurts because my hip's jacked up because my knee's jacked up, even though I never injured my hip, right? He'll write you a letter saying a medical letter from a doctor. They're doctors saying that they're linked, and then they send it to you. You pay them like $1,000 total. You can get up to like 5 of these letters, and then you just submit it with your VA claim. And if they still reject it, these guys go to bat for you on the appeal.
Oh, that's cool.
So, because my VC whatever the county person that you go to, VCFO, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Is not. She's useless. That's a job that they really don't need. They could just hire like a part-time volunteer to walk them through how to use the computer. Because VA claims are just that easy.
Yeah.
There's certain VSOs
because everyone she did, and the ones I did, I'm at like 50% for the ones I did. All the ones she did got straight up rejected.
Wow.
And it took.
So she was just a bad VSO.
Well, first I went to her, and then it took her like 4 months to remember to even put stuff in the computer. Like we filled it all out, but she never submitted it until like 4 months later. I'm just like,
okay.
I had to call her, and she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to do that.
Like I know down here the VSO that we had for a while, she was bad.
The one in Sauk County
or whatever.
The one in Sauk County is really good.
Or enlisted.
Sauk County is really good. I just don't live in Sauk County.
Yeah, that's
my
problem.
But yeah, so I've been looking at these pictures online, right? And a lot of them are places I haven't been. But one of them is Sinjar Mountain. That's where I was. This is where the retrans was in northern Iraq. And yeah, I feel old. Like, I was there at this time. The dude looks like you click on the dude's profile, and he looks like he's 12, And turns out he's like 30s. He's in his 30s, and it's
how it works, man.
I just don't.
Well, it's the same thing.
I look at it this way: comparing different tours in Iraq and Afghanistan is kind of like you can't. You can't because each one is so dramatically different. Like I left in 2004 after my first tour in 2003, and there was nothing there, right? I mean, you'd have Hajis outside the gate on a mat selling you CDs and cigarettes, and there was no AFIs. There wasn't, maybe you got a semi-trailer. If you were lucky, you got a semi-trailer, which I'm sure you guys saw. I think you guys had one of those in Dubai, didn't you? The semi-trailers?
No.
Oh. But
we had one. We had one at Beering.
But the cool part is I went to one in. I can't remember it was a third ID base, but they were just building it. I don't remember the name of it. And the showers they put in were literally. Remember like those big green tents? Like we'd use the old cloth ones, and then they put pallets down and ran hoses across, and those hung hoses, and then there'd be like 80 dudes in this tent with like 80 hoses just hanging, and but you figure you hadn't showered in 4 months at that point, so you really didn't care.
Well,
yeah.
To your point,
I was sleeping on the hood of a Humvee.
Yeah.
you know.
To your point, though, remember when we were endearing together, smoking
Which time?
and joking? Yeah, well, pick one because if what has just popped off happened then,
I'd
would've
still
been
be sitting there smoking a cigar. I'm not going to die.
oh, no, we'd still be smoking a cigarette. It would just be, look, shit's blowing up now.
Yeah,
It was like I said to Bobby when we were talking about it the last time is because we went through like who we were and all the bases and everything. And yeah, everywhere we were at pretty much got hit. Ollie Ossaline,
well, if you remember when we were, what was it?
Deering.
I can't think of it now. It's going to bother me until I think of it. Exactly. I can't think of it. Oh, when we were in, do you remember when we were in Kuwait and that dude fell through the floor when he was using the bath? He was taking a piss and he fell through the floor.
Yes.
It was, wasn't that
Ollie Ossaline?
wasn't that Chaplin's assistant?
Yeah, it was Gru.
Yeah.
Drew
Yeah.
fell through the floor.
Yeah, Gru fell through the floor.
He was-
Because we were out smoking a cigarette and
Oh,
he
well, you were smoking a cigarette. I was smoking a cigar.
you had a cigar. And he comes storming out of the shower
All
trailer,
bruised up.
just pissed, all bruised up.
Just boom. Right down to his weight, right down to his down to his diaphragm. Just
Yeah, it was right there.
funny thing, the best part about that entire deployment is I shipped my equipment to Jordan, right? Remember it left like 3 weeks before I did?
Yeah, and you beat it there.
And it got sent to Georgia, the country, not the state. It was supposed to go to Jordan, an hour flight on a plane. It ended up so remember I ended up spending like an extra 3 weeks. So I ended up spending 6 weeks in Jordan.
No, because that was why I saw you twice.
Yeah, I ended up spending like 3 or 4 weeks in Jordan, just waiting for the equipment to catch up to me. And then I remember then the girls and I had to go through it all, and that took like another 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
My weekend trip to Jordan turned into like a month and a half in Jordan. Not to mention the 2 weeks I sat in Kuwait to get to Jordan, and then the other 3 weeks I sat waiting to get back to Syria. So my week-long trip took 2.5 months.
But that's the way the fucking flights and all that
And then
shit. They were just
I had to teach Serrano how to. That's because we were in Jordan. They had those pickup trucks, and I had to teach Serrano how to parallel park a pickup truck because he couldn't do it.
Yeah, I believe that.
I'm like, this isn't hard, dude.
I
You just
believe
do
that.
that. You're like, you just do this. Like, see?
I believe it.
Oh, but that was
There's
that
two
really
of us
nice
who were-
German Shaw Hall. I can't remember the name of that base though, but they had a German Shaw Hall there. And they made everything from scratch.
I hate you.
So no wonder Serrano and I got so fat down there. Went from eating brisket in Syria every day to eating like homemade cakes. But do you remember when I got in trouble by Kutnik because he got in trouble from the sergeant major because I dimed out battalion for turning Jordan into a combat patch factory. I dimed him out. I remember I dimed out V on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because she was saying,
Yeah.
it's so great. I get to serve my country and earn this patch. And I was like, bitch, you flew in the country for 2 weeks, sat in the Shaw Hall, did some sightseeing. I actually earned mine by getting shot at overseas. And I just went off.
I remember
You and
that.
I were smoking cigars when I did it.
Yep.
I don't
No,
know.
because he showed it to me, and I'm like, "Don't do that."
It wasn't even.
And he fucking hit.
It wasn't even 20 minutes later.
His fucking phone blew up. We were still in the smoke pit. It was like midnight.
She went straight to the first sergeant.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was fucking
The
hilarious.
thing is that nobody told me I was wrong.
No. I'm like, dude, don't.
They would have
do
said,
it.
"Hey, that's not what we're doing." But nobody said that. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it that way." They never said that. They never said, "Hey, that's not what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it." They never. As a staff sergeant, they figured out they would explain something like that. No, they're just like, because I called them out on it. And
Yeah.
there's no reason for the girls.
That was-
I'm going to say the girls because we know there's one in supply. There's a couple that worked with the first sergeant. There's no reason for them to be in Jordan at all. 90% of the people they sent to Jordan had no reason to be there. They'd come up. They'd go on field trips to the River Jordan. They'd go on field trips to all these other places, and then they fly back. And then they fly back to UAE and go to the mall.
So I was supposed to go to. I was supposed to go up and be armorer support in Afghanistan, and because my E5 was mad at me, yeah, I didn't go, and they sent the other person that had no armorer experience and went there, and I got like 3 phone calls when she showed up.
Did she get another
Yeah.
award for it?
Not for that. Not for that.
For fucking shit up. Here is your award.
Hey man, fail up is a thing. Fail
Hey,
up is a
I'll
thing.
be honest. The only award in my entire
Fail up is a
military
thing.
career I truly feel like I earned, like actually earned, was that AAM Bobby gave me my first AT for shooting across Fort McCoy.
That, I mean,
Going from the grandstands to South Fort with one OE is impressive. And I bet you
it
nobody's
was.
done it since.
No.
You don't cherish the. Do you still have your hand mics? I know you.
Well, that's
wanted
not a
hand-
military award. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's
I
more
hold
like a
them as a
platoon,
higher value.
that's a platoon award. That meant like
Those are all
actual, like,
custom made.
like, because I have, if you see my uniform, I have like, you know, I'm like this, right? Because I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. I've done so much crap just by dumb luck. Just by
Well, so you were in.
like no crap. I got 2 coins one time in Iraq just by falling into a formation. I thought I was a PFC. I saw the colonel and the sergeant major, and I thought I was late for formation. So I booked. There were like 20 people, and I knew all of them. So I book up I'm like, and you know, I jiggle, I don't run. So I'm booking it, right. This is right after I melted the sergeant major's truck. Oh, I don't know if I've ever told you that story.
No, you melted a sergeant major's truck.
Yes, but so I get in the formation. I'm standing there in the sergeant major, and he's talking to everybody. I'm like, you know, because at this point, I've been in the Army a year and some change, and that year's pretty much, actually pretty much been training, right? So I know nothing. Next thing I know, the sergeant major walks up, shakes my hand, hands me a coin. I'm like, oh, cool. Next thing, colonel walks up, shakes my hand, hands me a coin. I'm like, oh, cool. He gets to the end and goes, hey, we're one short. I'm like, and me being me, I'm a little dense, you know. It was years later before I realized what the heck actually happened, you know, because you don't think about it. You get the coin, you throw it in the box, and you forget about it, right? And I was like, years later, I was thinking about it, about how I got my coins, like what I did for each one. And I'm like,
You just
huh,
showed up.
I just showed up.
Shut up.
That's all I did for my RCOM. When that showed up in Iraq, that showed up. Like that Facebook saying, right? Where it shows like the RCOM and it has all the paragraphs and it has like the lieutenant and goes, I showed up in boots with Garth Brooks, you know? Because we actually had, when I was in my battalion, my first tour, we actually had lieutenants and officers that were trading gear. Like they'd go to like the cache, I think that's what they still call it, the Army surgical hospitals. The on base,
CAS?
like, it's blown up, they rush them, you know.
Yeah, the
They
CAS,
would
yeah.
go down there and they'd get like messed up sappy plates and messed up vests and shit, and they were trading them as souvenirs. It's okay though, because my lieutenant that did that, he got karma. He ended up getting ball cancer, so he got on that deployment.
Jesus.
That is
Yeah.
karma. Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
I'll tell you what though, he was
God damn.
probably one of the best SIGOs I've ever had, if not the best SIGO I ever had. That dude knew everything about everything. He knew the platoon sergeant's job. He knew he could reprogram a computer. This is back when he had to load Windows with like 50 disks. Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that? He had like the big stack of floppy disks that you were loading Windows. One
Please
disk.
insert disc 2.
Please insert disk 47.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, so how many deployments have you gone on? Because you have a lot on your belt.
Volunteered for 6, went on 4. I was supposed to go to Afghanistan, but they with that was it the 147th, the helicopter squadron out of Madison?
Yeah.
I was supposed to go with them, but they ended up canceling the mission because they active duty took it, which would have been a blast because my high school buddy was my lieutenant.
They asked me to go on that one.
That was some of the best training I've ever had. I learned how to farm, like we went to the Amish, learned how to farm like the Amish. We learned how to make stuff out of beeswax and honey and all that type of stuff, how to harvest bees. I mean, it was Well, we weren't going over there as a combat unit. We were going over there as an agricultural unit to teach them how to farm, more modern farming techniques. And it was phenomenal. I learned so much. I actually got credit from the University of Wisconsin, from one of their classes, an actual college credit for one of the classes we took. Wow. And I learned it was so cool. I was an E4 at the time. I was actually a 50 cal gunner on a truck. That was my thing, which I've done once or twice before, so I was comfortable with it.
Okay.
So
you knew how to do the headspace and timing and weren't going to launch the barrel.
Dude, the first time we got the new 50 cal, I went to pull that damn trigger, and I don't remember who it was. It was some private, some new guy. He was the range safety, learning how to be range safety. He was with who's that really big dude we had in Alpha? He was in he was in Syria with me. Anyway,
McKintry or McIntyre?
I think it was McIntyre.
Okay.
Shit, what was I saying? You gotta pardon me. I have my memory and brain.
We're talking about the 50 cal range, some random.
Oh yeah, so I pushed that button, and it just didn't do nothing. And Max talking to the kid, trying to teach this, how to do it, how to do it, right? And I'm like, he goes, "Hey, Sergeant, I think the safety's on." I'm like, 50 cals don't have safeties. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? There's no safety on this damn thing, you stupid private. Because I was having a bad day. I'd been up early.
The new ones too.
I was out of coffee. It was a bad day. And I looked down, and sure enough, there's a little switch right there. And he goes,
"The new ones have."
I'm like, "Huh." He goes, "What do you mean, Sergeant?" He goes, "What do you mean there's no, like, you know what it was when I was a private? I took an empty 50 cal casing and stuck it under the butterfly. That was the safety when I came in."
Yep. That's like, what we did on our
he looked at me like I was a fossil.
It's because we were.
But yeah,
they don't know what headspace and timing is.
But yeah, I did pretty much 03 to 06 I was in Iraq. And then 08 I went to Kosovo. I don't really count that, but it's on the docket.
Okay.
I don't count like going to Kuwait and Kosovo and Germany. I don't count those as deployments because I drove a Humvee and ate steak and drank macchiato for a year. Not like I did a whole lot.
Oh.
And they made me drive in the winter because I didn't know how to drive in snow. And yeah, in the mountains. So I'm going through the mountains of Europe in a Humvee in the snow, in the ice, trying not to fall off a mountain. I came close. So we hit some ice coming down Nothing Hill up in on the Serbian border, and we almost went nosedived off a cliff because we were sliding, and I tapped the brakes, and we kept sliding, so I tapped them again, and we just kept sliding down this hill because that up armored was not stopping.
No way.
And it literally stopped. It literally stopped about like a foot and a half from going off this cliff. Yeah, like it was like, no kidding. It was so bad that my sergeant was gonna jump. That's how bad it was.
Did you have to change your pants after that?
I was okay. I knew we were gonna be fine. I could feel it. Well, I've driven in snow. You can feel it in the wheel.
So you're like, all right.
Yeah, when the tires start to grip.
It was gripping, and
yeah, you can feel it in the pedals. Yeah. And he was,
jumping out the fucker already.
Funniest, but my favorite. Here's the best part, though. I got to tell you a couple things about this Kosovo deployment. So they make this unit. It isn't like the 121's deploying to Kosovo, right? It's Missouri is deploying. So they pull like 3 from here, 2 from here, 1 from there, and this making
hodgepodge.
A box of misfit children. A box of misfit children, essentially, right? I'm in this is an infantry unit going to Kosovo to do. We were doing riot control, which is phenomenal. I loved it. My platoon leader was a supply officer. My platoon sergeant was NBC, and my squad leader, I believe he was actually a combat officer. He might have been like MP or something. But yeah. So I have a female lieutenant that's a supply officer as my platoon leader. I have a 150-year-old platoon sergeant that's NBC. This dude was in Grenada. Remember Grenada? He was in Grenada. He did Grenada. That's how old this dude was. That was in the 80s.
Hold on. Nope, never mind.
Yeah, Grenada was in the Grenada was in the 80s. This was 2008. So what was that? 40 years? 30 years?
30 years.
So like master sergeant, right? And since Jesus was a corporal. And it was a fun time. But we'd go out and we'd pull some dinar. They had the little ATMs that we'd have dinar, or you have the little Eagle Cash card thing, which I I never really used. But we pull Dina, go out, we drive on our patrol, and we go out and drive across this river to this restaurant. And we'd have a steak with mushroom sauce and drink macchiatos, and then drive back to base. And the one time they actually made us go do something, like, oh, something's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. And they made us go out to do a patrol out in the middle of nowhere, right? Because so there's some like terrorist organization group that they actually had like bombings, like soldiers would go to these restaurants and like the people would actually bomb these restaurants. So I mean, it did happen, but I'm like, the sergeant, we're sitting there, right? And it's like hours into this. I'm like, this is bullshit. And he goes, look at something to eat. Like, well, we can't. We gotta have MREs. They can track us on the BFT. I'm like, can they now? So I unhooked the antenna. I go into it and I manually place my icon. Remember how to do that? I manually placed the icon where we're supposed to be, and I said, mount up, let's go. And we took off. And we were out throwing rocks at ducks and stuff, and eating steaks and drinking macchiato and shopping at stores. And for all battalion knew, we were still sitting up there on the Serbian border. Macedonia. We were still sitting on the Macedonian border. But the most disgusting thing there is they don't have like the garbage service there is horrible. So they have this one major river that flows through the entire country. It goes down into like the Macedonia and then down into the Mediterranean, right? They just throw all their garbage into this river. And then when the snow melts in the spring, the water from the mountains flush it all down into the Mediterranean. And then it gets washed out into the Atlantic. But Macedonia does it. It's weird though, because Kosovo does it, Serbia does it, Macedonia does it, and it's like this giant river of trash flowing through Eastern Europe.
God damn.
And it goes straight into the Mediterranean. But
Wow.
make sure you drive your electric car. But no, Kosovo was a lot of good time. Oh, it was a lot of good time. We did our training in at Atterbury, Camp Atterbury.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
And the day after we left, the trailing party, they had a tornado. And the trailing party was, I think they call it the trail party, right?
Yeah.
They were taking pictures of the damage on base because they got hit by a tornado. Do you know like the Far Side Chow Hall, like the big tan, like blow up style, like the big tent with the fans that blow up? They had one of those, and it threw a Humvee right through it. They showed us a picture of a Humvee. This thing is pumped up and it's holding, because it has like the rafters, but it's holding a Humvee. This 998 style Humvee just hanging there like this, and we're like, dang. We had an earthquake while we were there too.
Jesus.
Yeah, we had like a 4.2 earthquake when I was there. I woke up and the bed's doing this, and I was like,
You're like, I didn't put a quarter
I
in.
was like, I wasn't dead, so I didn't care. But sleep. So when that first explosion goes off during a mortar attack, and you're like, I'm still here.
You listen to how far it's landing, you're like, I'm still good.
Well, I took to heart. We had this guy. He was an EOD. He was what do you call it when they recall retired people? But he was recalled. He was EOD, or recalled EOD from Vietnam. Because we didn't have EOD really at the time, right? And he's like, "Oh, why you kids are running like that?" And he talked just like that too. The ones you hear aren't going to hit you. And the ones you don't hear, you're already dead. I was like, dude, that dude was like 50-some, 60-something years old, right? Maybe 70. He might have been 70. And he's at this old crusty. Can you imagine imagine a Vietnam vet in Iraq, right? He thought I didn't care. This dude
Straight up was like, fuck it.
He's a senior citizen. You think he cares if he blows up? You know what I mean? Because like my family gets 400,000. What do I care? But he'd get out of his truck and we'd be sitting there waiting, because the IED's up here, wherever, and he'd get out and he'd walk down there and kick at it, kick it for a little bit, and then he'd bend down and do something. He'd pick it up. I mean, he has this mortar around. He's walking back and he drops it off at the first truck. He drops it off, and my buddy was the driver at the time. He ended up getting wounded later, but he bails. All you see is this dude bailing out of a Humvee. Right, the door's open. People bail. Well, this old dude walks up and hands the lieutenant this mortar round. Says, "Hold this. I'll be back," and walks away.
What the shit?
Just walks away. Oh, I bet you that 20-year-old lieutenant was crapping his pants.
Yeah. Hold this. It's sensitive, so don't move too much. I'll be
Oh
back.
yeah,
Too
I
much.
mean,
Don't drop it.
we only ever had one IED attack on our convoy, but and it happened like three trucks up. But we were in 998s, so you didn't walk
Soft
away
hands.
from those. You didn't walk away from them.
No.
Oh, we had no doors, sandbags on the floor. You know, we used to stop in the Taji to the tank graveyard. I don't know if you ever saw that when you were there. The tank graveyard on Taji.
Yeah, I know what.
Well, we'd go in there and rip pieces of metal off and have the engineers and stuff fabricate armor for the doors, and it wouldn't be uncommon to, you know, if you rolled into the gate and had like 2 or 3 hand grenades in the back of your Humvee that didn't blow up. We had an instance where our strikers had these bird cages, and I was in the convoy, and we took some, and I don't know, I think they screwed up. I think this is an Army fail. You know, but you know, the Army never fails, but I think this is their first fail ever. Is because the way the bird cage is designed, it's kind of like the reactive armor on an Abram, where it hits and it blows outward, right? That's kind of the design, but it would catch the RPG because the gap was too wide. Like because it's just like a fence, right?
Yeah, it's just a
but
fence.
but it would be so wide it would actually catch the RPG. So you'd have a live RPG lodged in the side of your striker. Yeah,
Well, that's exciting.
Oh yeah. Hey, the sergeant major only ever said one word to me. One sentence a week is all he ever said to me. He was a Patriots fan, and when I was his RTO, he'd be like, "The Patriots win," and I'd call back like, "Warhorse X-ray, Warhorse 7. Did the Patriots win?" And then I'd have to switch the internal. I'm like, Roger, Sergeant Major, Patriots won, and he'd be like, "Fuck yeah!" You know, that's all he would say to me. That was our conversation. But his gunner, I think it was his gunner. I don't remember. I don't know who the dude is. I don't remember who the dude was. I just remember the incident. But we got contact or something. Something happened where we ended up stopping, and we're dropping the ramp to the striker, right? And this was back before they had breakaways on your CVC helmets. Okay, so you were still hooked in. So this dude, he's a big guy. He was like Trucky's build, but like 5 inches taller.
Okay.
I mean, just a massive human being. And he takes off running. He gets to the end of that cord. He just, boom, damn, he hits that ramp, yelling and cussing, rips that helmet off, gets back up, takes off running. No weapon, no helmet, just him. Just full barrel rat. Well, just his vest, just booking it through the desert, right? Because we knew where these people were. They were up on this embankment shooting at us.
Hulk smash him.
And he's just, and these guys are shooting at him, and he's just running as they're shooting 50 cals at these guys, right? So imagine this dude running across the field while people are shooting 50 cals. He tackles this dude, this Iraqi. The dude had a grenade, right? So he yells grenade, the grenade goes flying, blows up BFE. And the dude, he just starts wailing on this guy, right? Like Rocky Balboa,
He just went Hulk on his ass is what he did.
You know, the dude got a Bronze Star with Valor. Or it was, I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but it was something along the lines of showing decisive action in front of the enemy or something. Like, the dude almost got shot by his own people.
He was just mad. That's all that was going on. He was pissed.
Dude, it was just weird because I'm just sitting there with my CVC on with the radio, like, I don't get paid for this. I think at that point I was making like 20 grand a year tax free. We definitely earned that money, boys. We definitely earned that money. Oh, that was good times, though. Good times. Or when towards the end we were leaving and we had nothing to do, and they'd have us put one Connex into another Connex just because.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh yeah, we used to do that too. All the stuff in this Connex needs to go in that Connex.
Yeah,
And
Steve
then
knows
like a week later,
nothing of that.
I don't know
That's what he was in
anything about
charge of.
inventorying Connexes over and over and over again.
Well, of course, you
We're
weren't
counting
there.
them all.
You weren't there. Your sergeant was. That's why she got the ribbon for it.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm very aware.
Oh,
I'm very aware.
oh, brother! I'll tell you what.
The sergeant that was in a slot
So,
that we didn't have.
So remember yesterday. I told you we could do it yesterday because I had that VA appointment. She
Yeah.
canceled it.
Well, that's fine. I had my VA appointment yesterday, so
Now she's calling. Now they're calling me. You saw that you missed your appointment yesterday. Bitch, you canceled it.
well, since we're on the VA topic,
Well, I was going to take you back to
So-
the deployment options or one and see if you have any questions about active duty.
Tell
Go
the story where you it was like your first deployment, I think, and you were with like probably like a Desert Storm sergeant or whatever, and he's like, just follow me. And you're getting shot at. You got like bullets fucking landing right next to your head and shit.
Oh,
And
that was
yeah.
Keep
we were
talking,
on
boys.
that
I'll
was
be
my
right back.
that was my second tour.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my second tour. We were on a foot patrol when we started getting shot at from the rooftops, and this lieutenant, not wasn't a big dude, but must have been strong as an ox because he just threw me over a hood of a car. Just,
and how big were you back then?
oh, back then I was 190.
And you just tossed your ass.
But I wasn't. But I mean 190. I mean I've been working out for almost 2 years straight.
Okay.
You know, I was like, I was like Kaz. You know, like
Okay. And he just threw your ass.
Like I was a paperweight. Yeah, just
That's a strong dude.
He came right over the hood with me, and yeah, we got pinned behind cars and stuff, and I was called. That's when I called in the Kiowas. I called in a Kiowa strife because they were in the area, and I called the TOC, and the TOC told me to give me their info so I could call them. Because I had a book that had a bunch of freaks in it for like different AOs, so I could, because you had to, obviously, I don't know if you guys did this, but we did. When you enter another unit's AO, you notify their TOC that you're entering their AO and that you're exiting their AO. That way, if something happens, they know you're there.
Right.
So yeah, I was doing that. I did that, and they came in.
So you were lugging a radio around.
I had two radios and an OE254.
Damn.
No, sorry, it wasn't an OE25. It was a COM 201.
Okay.
At that
still,
point.
that's a load.
Not really. Those aren't that heavy.
No?
They're only like 10 pounds.
Okay. So they weren't like the Singars or anything, which are...
No, you know the COM 201 antennas that we have? Yeah, that's what I would have.
Okay.
And it was just this on the side of my pack, and then if they needed me, I'd carry, if they needed like extra ammo, or because I didn't carry much when we went out. Usually I just carried a crap ton of water because I don't do heat. And other than that, I didn't have like a rucksack really. I'd have like a book bag with I'd have like my assault pack with my radios in it, and then I Jimmy rigged something, but I never don't need a rucksack.
So he throws you over the hood, and you're getting shot at from
everywhere,
higher points everywhere, and you call in an airstrike, or did you call an airstrike?
Well, it was a Kiowa. It was Kiowas. It was machine guns. It was not an actual like boom. Yeah, it wasn't actual, but yeah, it was kind of like, I guess the best way to put it, if you've ever seen it, would be like in Black Hawk Down, where they're on the rooftops and they're shooting. That's the closest thing it reminded me of. And that wasn't that severe. Obviously, we didn't have an entire town trying to kill us. I don't think, but it was the closest thing I could think of. And I'm just sitting there like this, like.
So technically, I guess it's funny that you're on this show because it's, POGs. And you were definitely more of a grunt for a
POG MOS.
A grunt with a POG MOS.
Yeah, I used to tell the guys that they were just pissed off because I could do my job and theirs. I was when I was in the MPs, I was one of 3 people that could shoot expert with a 9mm, and I was the commo guy. So to make sure I was popular, he came out. Not only have that little walkway above the tower, he came out and said, "We're not leaving here until everybody qualifies, because if the commo guy can do it, then MP should do it."
Hey,
so I was
true.
True.
That is true. I agree with you there.
That was my first drill, so I was a very popular guy. Like, shooting 9mm is not that hard. You're like 20 feet away. It's not, It's not like that new goofy way you shoot.
Having been the range safety for a bunch of officers when they do the 9mm, and having to have taken 9mm away from officers, every time that I've done it, I would beg to differ.
I had an E7 in Kosovo. She wasn't my E7, but she was on the range with me, the 9mm range, and she shot her 9mm like this. Like, this is my 9mm, right? She would stand there like this.
Like this? Yeah. No, I had a lieutenant colonel do that.
Me and this other guy, we were already qualified, so we were just dinking around because we had nothing else to do. So we were two-handing the pistol range, right? We're out there like
As
almost.
long as you're safe about it, that's fine.
Oh no, we were like
we all
sneaking
did
out.
that.
We were like gang banging at.
Yeah. No, we used to do that shit all the time.
We were
after
safe.
everybody
It wasn't
left.
like we were safe. It wasn't like I was.
You weren't flagging the fuck out everybody though.
No, or doing the moonwalk that one dude does in that video where he does the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that stupid crap. No, good times though.
I just
I do miss Alpha though. I had a great time in Alpha.
It sounds like
Yeah,
it was
okay.
pretty entertaining.
I mean, Thomas and I had a great time.
Well, that's because he was a Cav guy like you.
Well, dude, the funny thing with him is though I've shared this story, especially with Carson, but I'd get into it with G. It's stupid major, but I'd get into it with him on my zipper phone, like pick up my own one. Thomas, send me another phone. He ended up sending me like 30 phones in a big box.
Because you kept.
He went into all the
tens.
he
you
went
know
to
how
all
you got those 30 phones?
he went into all the unused Air Force buildings and just stole their phones because they all had the Air Force thing on them.
You
That's
remember
where he
the
got
other
'em.
box?
Because
You remember the other box of 30 that you got?
I didn't get another box of 30.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
I know you
Yeah.
sent me some.
That was the other box that you got.
Yeah,
was from me.
I was like,
You went through the first fucking box that Thomas sent
it wasn't
you.
30 though. It was like 12.
That's because that was all I could find.
But yeah, but they were all old Air Force phones because we didn't have any. So they were just going to all these abandoned Air Force buildings and just jacking their phones, the IP phones, and then shipping them to me.
Thomas
Where do you
was
think that-
very good about acquiring things.
He was
How do you
very
think
good
anybody got any?
with making you feel stupid for not knowing something while making you a joke about it.
Yes.
He'd be like, "Well, you do it this way. You're so dumb." I don't know what it reminded me of. I actually had a picture of him come up on my feed when we were in Kuwait at that antenna class we had to go to. That was a waste of time because I ended up learning more on my own than the dude taught me in the class. But Thomas was all just passed out. He put us in third shift barracks, right? So everybody's up all night and they sleep all day. We're up all day and we try to sleep all night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 140 degrees outside. And they have us in this stupid room learning about a piece of equipment from like 1995. And that I didn't even use. I think I never used,
At least you were with Thomas.
Well, I don't
I
understand.
had to go with D and babysit his dumbass.
What I don't
when you were there.
understand is we had that, whatchamacallit? I don't remember. I lose train of thought so quickly these days.
Nothing's
But,
actually changed. I said nothing's actually changed. You
oh,
lost your train of
it's actually a
thought.
little worse, I think.
It's fine.
Yeah. Or like what? Or how about,
Have you watched any of our videos?
I watched almost all of them. But do you remember? I think Bobby would. When I was supposed to mail those hard drives to Kuwait,
Yeah.
Yes.
he wanted me to mail secret hard drives from Syria
Yes.
to Kuwait. And then he actually threatened me because I asked for a signed memo from the colonel requesting it because I wasn't going to do it without the colonel's direct written order. And he tried getting me in trouble for it. But guess what? I never mailed them. I flew him. I took him down myself because I might have told some officer that they should get those done before we leave country, but they didn't. Pretty sure I told you to have G do that, and when we were in El Paso.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Of course, it could be worse. You could just put all your radios into a Connex and ship them to country without, like a certain captain did, from the 108th. Or put your pistol in your bag.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about that.
We talked
Yeah.
about that.
I
On
heard-
your
I saw- I
carry-on,
wa- I
on a
watched
commercial
that one.
flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still wish you would have listened to me though, and wouldn't have taken what's his face with us, the one that ended up with the bed bugs and ended up getting kicked out for drugs. Your
My
buddy.
buddy. My buddy.
Yeah. I wish you would have
Me
listened
being
to
in
me
charge
and
of an
not
E5.
picked him. I think he would have been a lot better off as a platoon if he never would have taken him or the certain female or another certain female or actually I think if it was just you, me, and Thomas, and Lewandowski, we would have been okay. And in the I'm talking about for uniforms. I'm not talking about computer guys.
Yeah.
You got to have
Kaz. Kaz is great.
Yeah, got to have Kaz.
He was entertaining and he knew what he was doing.
He is the smartest dumbass I've ever met.
It's fair. That is fair. That is very fair.
Yeah, once they saw where my ratings were going, they're like, "Yeah, we got to get you out."
Well, and that's why I got med boarded, was because, well, the second I would have started doing my claim, they couldn't keep me in anyways. So they were like,
Right.
well, we'll just kick him out now.
Right.
Yeah, I had no intention of staying in. Not after I
Oh, God,
found out how crappy our retirement was.
Well, that, and you could see where the military was going. Yeah, they had the required COVID shots. They had
That
so
brings me
many
to
like required things. They're like,
that brings
if
me
you
to
don't do this,
that brings
you're
me to
out.
another fond memory I have of RSA. So picture it. It's the summer. We're outside in a green tent fixing to eat lunch, right? Captain
we talked about this. We
Captain-
talked about this, Bobby.
Captain Wilson's face was going to do a little briefing, right? And there was this E6 there. All he kept saying to this E5 was, keep eating, keep eating. So I just kept eating. I had plenty to say, but my sergeant told me to keep eating, so I kept
Was
eating.
I a 6 or a 7 at that point?
Oh, you were a 7, I was a 6.
You were, yeah.
Well, I was a 5.
You were a 5 still.
It must, yeah,
It don't
because it
matter.
was
You were
right before
7.
you got your 6.
It don't matter. It really
Just-
doesn't matter.
Just shut your mouth.
And I remember I was eating that horrible salad from that crappy place we always got the food from.
The Greek
Right.
place.
But I didn't have to say anything because Raj took care of it for me.
Yeah.
It was that
Well, no.
it was that moment in that transgender briefing I realized I need to get out.
It was actually R that said it, but
Well, actually,
same thing.
the
Close enough.
biggest. Oh yeah, Sarnard. Yeah, the biggest thing that got me with the 121 was the sheer incompetence of people with so many years of service. Like, do you remember when we were at, where were we? Illinois, Marseille, right? Marseille, whatever that was.
Yeah.
That was in Illinois, right?
Yeah, that was.
And we were doing the convoy training, and G had me back into the impact area or the kill zone, and I came out of my truck and threw my helmet at him and went ape shit because it was me, Thomas, Reed, and Reed. I was driving, and I'm like, "Who the fuck orders you back when a bomb goes off? Back into the blast area? What the?" I'm just going nuts.
Yeah,
And he's just
I was
standing there.
out during that
No,
exercise.
he had me back up because we were in the same one.
No, you were
And
in
he
front
had
of me.
I was, and then he had me back up.
You and I were
No,
hauling.
it wasn't him. It
You and-
was the
you and
fucking
I were-
NBC dude.
You and I were hauling balls, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we're dead."
Because every training we'd ever gotten was get the fuck out.
Yeah, and I remember I looked in my side mirror.
Not stop and go back.
I looked in my mirror, and there was nobody there. It was just you and
Yeah,
me.
It
And they
was
were all,
me and
they were
you.
all doing like 15 miles an hour, and we're doing like this balls to the wall.
We were floored.
Probably going way too fast for those roads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I remember
I was leading.
the G at the point, he just stood there staring at me. Because I don't think he knew I don't think he'd ever seen me that mad. I was mad.
That was when we both died.
I didn't die.
I died
I
because there
did.
was an IED attack and it blew up right. I was driving.
Oh, that's
and I
right.
got
You were
blown up.
behind me.
Oh, I was in front of you
Well, because how did you die?
because somebody fucking shot my ass when we stopped to back up.
Sniper.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because
I
Bobby was the
had-
one. Bobby's truck's the one that got blown up, right?
Yeah.
So simulated.
I got blown up.
Which
He
brings me
got
to my
blown
next
up.
to my next one of my favorite moments in the military. Right? Picture it. We're sitting there at Marseille, whatever. We're in a classroom with this guy going over videotape, right? Showing us explosions and stuff that happened overseas. One of my Joes. People hated this guy. People really didn't like him.
I know where the stories are.
R was
Yeah,
my,
R.
he was my guy. He was like, he was my man. He was. I
That's
loved
R.
that dude. I loved that dude. And all you hear him goes as a suicide bomber goes off, right? And all you hear is, "Where'd he go?"
Just
There and there.
explosion, smoke
there.
everywhere. It's
And
just,
the room is
and
just
then it
dead
kinda
quiet.
like the wind blows
No,
it.
do you
and it was
do you
just-
remember?
Where'd he go?
You know,
Do
the
you
room
remember
is
the
dead
front
quiet,
corner?
and all you hear is Reed
Do you
go,
remember the
"Where'd he
back
go?"
corner? Do you remember the back corner? Just starting hearing a giggle.
"Yeah."
Says that was me.
But even the instructor was like, "Damn."
I'm like, oh shit. Okay, well,
Yeah.
me and R are in trouble.
That shit
You
was so
remember
funny.
when,
He also said that same thing because those instructors, I think, weren't they SF guys?
Yeah.
Or
No, he
former
was
SF?
he was like retired SF or something.
Re-
Oh, okay.
Like, just did it all like serious. Like, he was talking about his thing. He's like,
You see, the thing is, though, as
Wait,
a
what was it?
soldier, right? As a
Something
soldier,
like that, and it was
R
just
was
like his perfect timing and his
R was completely
acting
useless.
like he really knew nothing.
As his MOS pertained, he was useless, and that wasn't really his. I don't think that wasn't his fault though, because there wasn't much really for him to do at AT.
Right.
So that wasn't really his fault. I think if we could have gotten the funding, we could have sent him the better training elsewhere. I think like have him go with like a actual signal unit to AT or something. You know, I think that would have been, looking back, I think that would have been probably a better idea.
Well, that was never going to happen.
But looking back, I mean, I was a pretty garbage NCO myself. I mean, I was garbage because I just didn't care. My expectation was show up for drill, do what I tell you, and leave me alone.
Get
That's
the
it.
award.
That was it. You think like if I'm having a hard time and I call you, right? Because you're what are you gonna do?
You remember when I walked into your
Depends where you
your
are.
guys' little closet and went, "Hey, your sergeant's trying to drill a hole backwards."
No, I was on the drill floor. Oh, yeah, that was the second time. Yeah, the second time.
That was the second time.
Yeah, we tried. Yeah, he had the drill in reverse, trying to drill. Yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah.
I walked up because we were there for state active duty, and I'm like, "That doesn't sound right." Well, what you doing?
I remember
drill a
when
hole.
somebody dropped off my Joe in the middle of the armory at 2 a.m, pissed drunk, and that's not the neighborhood to be doing that in.
I remember that. I remember you telling me that story.
The one that went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
She was a damn good soldier, though. She was gun ho. She had that. She was willing to use that 240. She was willing to use the 249.
She didn't want to fucking clean either of them, though.
Neither did I. That's why I had Joe's.
I'm aware of that.
But I mean, I think if it wasn't for that,
She was one of your guys'.
if it wasn't for that
you
that
guys
POS, that husband she had, that was active duty, she would have been. I think she would have been an all-star in our unit. She would have.
Atkinson was good, other than the fact that we had to weight his ass down so he could pass fucking weight.
Yeah, he'd tape
Right.
wrenches to his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got. I remember you guys going, "Hey, I need wrenches." What do you need wrenches for?
I gotta tape wrenches to my Joe so he passes weight.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember when what's her face? Her face threw Reed's bag out of the truck.
Yeah,
They're going
D.
down the hill.
Yeah.
He was
Big
going
D. Double
Yep.
D.
Yeah, I saw those on accident. Don't have boobs as your screensaver.
Hey,
It's
she
just-
was proud of them.
I
Most-
wasn't.
That's
She
the
was.
thing is, most girls that get boob jobs, they're proud of them, so they take pictures
She had
of
her
them. They like
crap.
to show them off. Steve
I went
knows
to
all
war
about that.
Everywhere.
I should have known better with the 121 after my first drill. When I showed up, and that woman had her crap in 3 different vehicles and outside on the ground. She had enough cigarette butts laying around in that truck to strangle somebody. And no matter how many times I yelled at her to stop smoking in the damn truck, on top of the batteries. First AT, like second drill, first AT sends me to a leadership meeting with Sergeant Major Hale. We'll come back to that. We'll piggyback to that. Dude, I watched the colonel's eyes glaze over. The Sergeant Major, what was his name?
That was only supposed to be a half hour.
He was like this.
Only supposed to be a half hour.
The only thing I said was when that captain for the medics, I can't remember his name, he had you know what I'm talking about, the doctor.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Before the idiot that we had in for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
That guy was really good. I think if he was there,
He was.
I think if he was in
We'd have
Dubai, you guys wouldn't have been as jacked up as you were. But
Well, no, we would have still been jacked up, but he would have actually taken care of it.
he said something about he hasn't been able to get his BFT installed and blah blah blah. And I remember I looked right over at him. I didn't even know who he was. Didn't know his rank. I'm like, you bring it over, I'll do it myself. He goes, you can do that? Like, it's a BFT, dude. It's not that hard to install one, especially after you melt the Sergeant Major's truck. So, yeah. You want to hear that story?
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you melt the Sergeant Major's truck?
Well, when FECB2 first came out, right, there was no training. We were in a motor pool, and pretty much some random dude, don't even know who he is. I'm sure somebody in my chain of command did. Goes up with 3 pallets, drops them off, and goes, "Here's your systems," and drives away. And I'm like,
What?
I had no idea what the heck they were. So I was like, okay, cool. So I do what anybody would do. I look at the TM, right? So okay, so I start installing. I figured out how to get it installed. At least so I thought. And I get the whole thing installed. It's easy because obviously you guys know the wires only go one way. BFT,
Right, yeah.
well, they only connect one way, so it's very simple. Well, what I didn't know was that on the old 998s, they had the battery terminals on the bottom. I don't know if you guys remember those. And that's
Yep.
where we would hook up like your extra radio mounts and all that kind of crap. I didn't
Yep.
know that because remember I've been in the Army about 2 minutes at this point.
Yep.
So I wired it right to the battery, positive and positive, and then started the Humvee. And it melted all the way up the power line, all the way to the junction, the little box with all your wires for like your monitor and stuff. That thing started smoking, sparking. The screen started flickering, and then I had to go. You see, Captain, what happened was, yeah, I only made that mistake once though.
Oh, goodness.
The best part was his was. I don't know what you would call it, but it was an up armored like 998 style, but instead of having the thick glass, it had like the full windows that came down. You know what I'm talking, like the original like armored Humvee.
The turtles.
Oh yeah, but they were actual armor. They just didn't have the big ballistic windows.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, they had windows that actually opened.
Yeah.
And the
old
fire
turtles.
suppression system went off in it. So like, yeah, it was that was a nice meeting with the commander and the XO and the first sergeant.
Holy shit.
That was a night. That was. I'm like, I'm the only camo guy in this unit, so I thought it's not like I can go to somebody and like, hey, how do I do this? You
Right.
know. So it's like when I was in Syria, I was the camo guy for the entire base because I was the highest ranking enlisted camo guy on the base. I had more time in service than everybody else at the table combined. Because the 101st were up there, and they were manning like every other tower or something. They got in trouble for doing something like that, and the first sergeant was doing a lot of stuff, you know. So they ended up getting booted out. They got kicked out of Syria. The 101st got kicked right out of KLZ. Oh, that was fun. Yeah, those guys were they were horrible. 101st. I've never had a good encounter with the 101st. Even when I went to Iraq in 03, I was went to Sinjar. They left such a hurry. They go up there, and you know you got your OA 254, right? With your ropes are coming down, right?
Okay.
They just cut the ropes. Didn't even left the stakes. Cut the ropes through the whole. Ripped it in half. The pole, right? Separated it in half. Threw the whole thing in the back of a Humvee and just bounced. And then they forgot somebody. They had some dude that got wounded that was up there. He had a big cast on his arm. And he was just up there because he couldn't do nothing else. They left his ass. They had to come back the next day and get him.
Jesus Christ.
They were in a hurry.
How do you
Like,
have
just
a
put down and get outta
convoy?
here.
How do you have a convoy and leave and drive halfway across a country and not realize you're missing somebody?
They did not do a proper head count.
They didn't do a
Their retrans was two OE 254 set up, and they had their mounts, you know, were just in the back corner of the chow hall. No hand mics hooked up, no speakers. They just had the wires hooked up and just put it up in the corner and just left it. Nobody monitored it. Nobody checked it. It just sat there. It was the most. Between the beer cans and the condoms, it was horrible cleaning up that place to them guys. It was bad because they had shared barracks. They didn't separate men and women. They shared.
Oh.
Yeah, and they would go down, and the locals would bring them. They were telling us what they were doing. They'd have. There's people wouldn't bring them food because obviously being up in the mountains, you can't get food every day. So they'd go down to the locals and eat with the locals and have drinks and relations with the locals, and then they'd go back up to the hill. They said it was better than any field exercise they'd ever been on. I'm like, I bet it was.
It's just a big plus.
It's just a
But that's why
fest,
I joined the Guard. When I was at Fort Lewis, I was laying in the dirt on a field problem, and this minivan pulled up. Two first sergeants and 2 sergeant majors got out with a cooler and a bunch of fishing poles. I'm like, what are they doing? So I walk over there. I'm like, hey, Top, like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're the Washington National Guard. We're here on our annual training. Like, train? You're fishing. I'm like, that's what I need to do.
You're like, that's what I want to do.
Man, I got so screwed on that. I got screwed.
Yeah.
No, it turned better once I got to the 121. Though it was a lot better. When I got with Bobby and that and you know people that actually listened
We
and
used to
spark
drink in
orders.
the 121.
Well, it was different. It was the dynamic because he knew what I was good at and I know what he's good at, so we could accommodate each other much better than most bosses that just like to promote people dumber than.
So I took care of more of the admin-y stuff,
You were the
Because
admin touchy-feely guy.
you definitely did not want to do paperwork.
I was the guy, I would take care of the field work, and I was the guy that would take care of the crap you needed to get done. If you needed something that needed that no BS, I was your guy. You were the one that took care of the tactful stuff.
Yeah, like
Hence,
like
putting out my
that was
fire,
the thing. It's like
putting out my fire for calling Michelle Obama a bitch. That was where you
Like,
came.
who should handle this? And it's like, all right, who are we dealing with? Okay, we can send Schneidwin, and he's just gonna go yell at them, or be like, they're kind of sensitive. I better go talk to him.
Yeah,
That's really what it was.
that's what it was.
My
We do not need
favorite-
to relive
But it was so.
the Michelle
But the thing
Obama
is,
comment.
it was so effective. I think that should be the layout of every platoon. You have the E7 that's good at paperwork and tactful. You have the dickhead E6 that knows what he's doing in the field and takes care of crap that you may not want to go get your hands dirty on. Then you have the E5 that's dumb as a bag of rocks but strong. That was Crite. Then you had the asshole that wants to do nothing but drive, and that was R. He was my driver. I told him, I don't care what you do. I don't care. I don't give a damn.
Yeah,
As long as
you
you're
took
here
him
when I need
over
to
as
go
your driver.
As long as you're
Like, you used
here
to
when
be
I
my
need to go
driver.
as long as you're here when I need to go somewhere, I don't give a fuck what you do. And that's what he did. He'd screw around the entire day, but if I needed to go somewhere and fix something, he was there.
You're like, bring the Humvee around, Jeeves.
Exactly. Hey, he didn't care. We had an understanding. Him and I got along fine. We were both a-holes. We both didn't like what we were doing. We were both fed up with it. I stayed in probably 10 years longer than I should have. Both mentally and physically, I probably stayed in 10 years longer than I should have. But at that point, it's either all or nothing at that point.
Right.
You know, you hit 10
my
years.
favorite was anytime you had to do the SI.
I don't remember ever doing the SI inventory.
Oh, you did.
Crite did it a lot. That was like his monthly task.
It was.
That's the look you gave
because
every
I
month.
couldn't-
That's the same eye roll you would do every month. Like,
Because it took so goddamn long. I
because
love
he was
Crite to death.
because he was dumb. But he was
I love Crite.
but he was a great guy. He was probably the
Oh no, I loved him to death.
He
Like,
was
Jesus
probably-
Christ.
I think of every person I've ever met, he was probably the most truly kind-hearted soul I've ever met.
Yes.
But he lacked common sense when it came to life.
Well, and
Yes.
that's the thing. He was good at taking orders, but he lacked.
And that's why I think it was you that told me, or Rosh that told me that he was up for an E6 spot at one point. Were you the one that
Nope,
told me
there
that?
was a spot. So there was a 6 spot,
Can you imagine that, Carson?
And-
E6?
and we're like, dude, don't, no, like,
Just
you
don't.
don't take it.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I didn't promote as quickly as I probably could have, because there's a lot that you're supposed to know at a certain rank. You can be an E6 with 5 years in, but you don't know anything, you know? So if you're an E5 with 14 years, E6 with 18, that's gonna hold a little more weight in a conversation than being, oh yeah, that platoon sergeant has 6 years of service. I'm not listening to him, you know?
I would know nothing about any of that. I don't know anything about completely ignoring someone who's been in less than me.
Well, it's like, I remember when I went to, what was that, BLC? Is it BLC? PLDC?
LULC.
PLDC?
PLDC, yeah, PLDC.
Whatever. I still
ELC.
use the old terms. So when I went to BLC, me and this other dude were the oldest guys in the class, right? By more than a decade. Like, everybody else is like 20. All these other E4, E5s are like 20 years old. This dude's like a 40-year-old Marine, and I think I was 30? I was like 30 years old or something at the time. I already had 3 deployments under my belt, you know. And I'm in a room full of high school kids.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I felt like, you know. So I didn't do any. I did. What was that online class we had? SSD.
Yeah.
SSD.
So I was doing SSD for my E6 while I was at BLC. I didn't even. Then I went to Georgia for, what is that? BNOC? Right? No, not BNOC. What's
Well-
the staff sergeant school? Used to be BNOC. I did my my SSD one for ALC. And then, I mean, because if you think about it, I went from E5 to E6 in almost E7 in 2 years, you know. So
But there is a difference between that and, like you were saying,
Yeah,
the
I was
20-year-old
competent.
kids. Yeah, well,
well, I wouldn't say competent. I was
Depending on what it was,
you had experience.
you were experienced.
And when you said something, it held.
You're like, yes,
Yeah.
Satan.
Yes, Satan.
All right.
Okay. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
guys.
Bye.